Hi, welcome to You Time. The purpose of You Time is to help you prioritize yourself by taking a few minutes each day so that you can be the best version of yourself for the other people in your life. The information presented in this interview is not necessarily my personal endorsement. It is also in no way an endorsement from my employer. Hi, welcome, Charity.
Hi, Synne. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on You Time.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Charity and I met online in a women's entrepreneurial group on Facebook, and I came to learn that she was a self-care coach, and self-care is obviously something I'm very passionate about. So I reached out to her and asked her if she would be interested in doing an interview and sharing with us a little bit about her background and how she became a self-care coach and what a self-care coach does, and how you can reach out to her if you're interested in coaching or learning more. So
Yeah,
welcome, Charity.
thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I'm happy to be here and happy that you reached out to me because I want to be able to share what I do with as many people as I can because I feel like it's really important. So do you want me just to kind of give you a little bit of background of how I became a self-care coach and start from there?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, like Senna said, I am a self care coach specifically for women, even though I have, and I feel that self care is for everybody. But that's really my niche is women. I became a self care coach recently at the end of last year. I personally, throughout my life, I've had a difficult time really finding what I wanted to do in my career and in my life. And I started and stopped a lot of different programs when it came to my college years. And I started a nursing degree and kind of fell out with that and realized it wasn't something that I wanted to do. So then I actually started a teaching degree because I knew that I wanted to help people. And I thought two of the best ways to help people are nursing or teaching. So I started a teaching degree and I loved aspects of it, but it wasn't something that really like filled my life with fire and passion. So I, along the way, I got married and kind of just did jobs that would pay the bills. And I got a corporate job because my husband was like, this is a really good job and this is something that would look good on a resume. So I started, and within 6 months, it completely sucked the life out of me. And I knew this is not something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to find more for a career that could really let me use my talents and my passions, which would be helping people and connecting with people. So my husband and I decided that it would be a good time for me just to quit my corporate job and take some time off. So I took the summer of last year off and did actually a lot of traveling. I went on a cruise with my best friend. We went to like Mexico and Bolivia and Florida. And I went and visited my sister in Georgia, went and saw another friend in Oregon, and went to Boston with my sister for a girls' trip. And I just did a lot of me work because I felt really out of aligned with me. Um, so at the end of the summer, I connected with her name is Allie Daniel, and she is a business coach. I connected with her on Instagram, and through her course, I was able to find what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people, and she opened up this new world of coaching to me, and I just felt so aligned with it and was able to choose which kind of coach I wanted to be, which is a self-care coach, because I feel like that is really important work that everyone needs to have in their life is self-care and self-love. So through her course, I was able to choose that niche and I've launched my program twice now, and I'm about to launch it the third time in June. And I'm really excited just because it's given me the opportunity to connect with a lot of different people, and like you, Synne, and other people in my life that I haven't talked to before in a while. But yeah, that's me. That's how I came. I went on this like self love journey that led me to coaching, and I'm really excited to do what I do every day. It gets me really pumped, and it excites my soul.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
What you said you're getting ready for your third launch. What do your
Yes.
launches look like?
So I do a 6-week course, and there are 4 modules. And 2 of the modules I give 2 weeks because they're a little bit more in length, and it's a group course. So I have 3 coaching calls with all of the clients, and then 3 one-on-one calls. And we connect. We have a Facebook group that we connect with, and then I do most of my coaching calls over Zoom, the app. And it's really amazing to me because at first I didn't know if I wanted to do one-on-one coaching or group coaching. And I decided that I was going to mix it both together. And I really enjoyed being able to see the women connect with one another, because these women didn't know each other before, but through me, they're able to connect. And now they've become friends, and they help each other on ways that like I'm not able to, connect with them. Some of them are mothers. I'm not a mother yet. So it's amazing to have that community and that support, not only from me, but from the women in the group that are going through the same kind of journey, that they can just connect in a way that I sometimes can't. So that's in a nutshell what my course is like. And I take a couple of weeks after I'm done just to kind of fine tune things and relaunch as much as I can, because I want to be able to do this more than 4 times a year, because as of right now, it's kind of my part-time job. I do have to have a full-time job right now because I'm just starting out with this coaching, but eventually this self-care coaching program will be my full-time and my full-time job. So I'm really excited to that point, but I'm really, I'm taking time to learn and to grow each time I relaunch a course.
What is your you said that you designed your course for women.
Uh-huh.
What are you finding out about sort of the demographics about the women that you're coaching?
That's a great question. So at first, when I was trying to find my ideal client, I thought about women in my age area, anywhere from 20 to 35, just because that's in my mind who I could help the most. But I'm finding that through my launching my program, I've actually had the opportunity to reach out to older women too, which has been really awesome because, of course, when you're starting out something new, all of your limiting beliefs and all of your negative self talk or what if is coming to your mind, and you're thinking, well, how can I even teach someone who's older than me, who has more experience in life than me, of what do I have to offer? But I've been able to see that what the content that I put together is all ranging ages of women. It's women that are mothers, it's women that are empty nesters, it's women at any stage, because first and foremost, I want this to be a program for anyone, because we're all at different parts in our life, and this has the ability to help you in whatever stage. So I had a lot of feedback from my older clients as well, and I was really surprised with it because I had a lot of um, worries and doubts when they first signed up. But it was awesome to see the older women and the younger women connect too, because I full-heartedly believe that age is just a number, and that we can connect on a different level, even if we have 40 years in between us. So the demographic is all aged women, and different backgrounds too. I personally am from Utah, so I'm more West Coast, and I've been able to reach out to different. I have some clients on the East Coast. I actually have a client from England, so that's really cool too. The only kind of difficult thing is the time difference and trying to get all the group
Oh
calls
yeah,
together.
logistics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's a trooper and she makes time for the group calls. But it's really cool to see how it's kind of spread slowly to different parts of the country, and even to a country outside of the United States. So
That's very exciting. Well, congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Charity is going global.
Yeah, slowly, one little step at a time.
That's great. You know, it's funny. I mean, I don't I don't know when I realized that self-care was even a thing or that there
Right.
were words to describe it.
Hmm.
And you know, it basically for me was just born out of necessity, kind of
Yeah.
being a single mom and trying to take care of my health. I just,
Hmm.
you know, kind of put a stake in the ground and said, no, I need some me time. I need to practice some things to take care of myself.
Right.
And I do, you know, I do a lot of different things,
Hmm.
including this podcast. So I
Yeah.
think it's great. You know, and I guess I guess I fit into your older demographic. Um, do you find younger women looking for support in self-care?
Yeah, I do. I When I first launched this program, I reached out to anyone and everyone that I knew. And my youngest um, client that I've had is 20. So, I mean, she definitely is just trying to figure out her life. She just started college. Well, she's the one that's in England, so she took a gap year and then she decided to start college. And it's interesting to see how, because one of the first things I do with my clients is have them get to know their identity, who they are, what they've been through, so that they can love themselves, right? So one of my exercises is to make a timeline of everything that you've been through in your life. And she was like, I haven't really been through anything. Like, I finished high school and I'm starting college and I've had one job. Like, I don't have a lot of life experiences, but it was really cool just to like sit down with her and to see exactly, like, go throughout her whole life, her whole 20 years, of what she really has gone through and what she has learned. And she took took a step back and was like, wow, I didn't realize that I've learned all of these things. And I was like, yeah, you just need to take a time to, think about it. And through through that exercise, she was able to just understand herself more. But I do believe that any person can benefit from self care at any age. And I feel like the younger, the better. Some of my clients that have children, and especially daughters, they're talking about, one of my clients has 3 little girls. And she's like, I'm going to start teaching this to my daughters like right now, because they need to know that self care is important. That, it is nice to be kind and giving and do service for others, but if you're not in that right state of mind, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things, then you shouldn't be going and trying to, you can't give from an empty cup. So it's awesome to see, like, taking the content that I'm teaching and having the clients kind of even more simplify it, because I do teach from a simple basic standard that's kind of like self-care 101, but having the clients take those um, exercises and concepts and even making them more basic for children to even understand. That was really surprising to me, and was like, wow, this can really be for anyone at any age.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely. I think, you know, I had mentioned a few minutes ago, just sort of the vernacular of self-care. It's sort of
Hmm.
language that is more kind of in culture
Hmm.
now. And
Totally.
I don't know if it, you know, I kind of, when I first shared this idea of this podcast with my family, my mother, got a little, I don't know, she seemed to think we just kind of differed about it.
Mhm.
She raised my sister and I and didn't, put a stake in the ground and say, okay, this is my self-care journey, or this is what I'm doing for self-care. And, I was able to point out to her that there were some things that she did that were just kind of her private time where she could kind of center and gather herself and collect herself to, be a great mom and a good
Mhm.
wife and work a job and everything like that. But I feel like just the whole sort of self-care movement is really kind of just coming into its own.
Totally. And I feel like, I mean, my mom was actually one of the first people to do my beta course. She is getting her master's in psychology and is going to become a counselor. And so she has learned these concepts in different ways, but she would tell me from the beginning, Charity, like if I had this content and this, like even at my hands at all when I was growing up, it would have changed my life dramatically. My parents got divorced when I was 16. My mom kind of had a mental breakdown, and she said that if this was something that she would have been practicing her whole life up until that point, that most likely would have never happened. So that kind of really hit me hard, is like, okay, so this is really important. What I'm trying to, share with the world, and what I want people to understand is that it has the ability to just um, to change your life in simple ways, but also dramatic ways that you may not notice right away. But yeah, I really think that it's more acceptable now to focus on your own needs. I know that there's a fine line between self-care and self-indulgence, and um, understanding that self-care is not selfish, but there are some ways that people do that, exercise self-care in self-indulgent ways, and then just say that they're, doing it for self-care. So there are, bad examples of that in our culture, I believe, but there are also great examples on how, putting your own needs first and taking that time for yourself daily really does affect your life in a positive way. So I'm thankful that people are more accepting and open to it, because it does make my job a little bit easier to know that, if you're open to it, then you can ask all the questions you want, um, and still, learn a thing or two from it. So I think it's the right time. That timing is everything in my life, and this alignment is just like, it's amazing to me to know that this is what I'm doing now, and it's a good time for this in the world as well.
What is your favorite self-care activity, or some of your favorite
Ooh.
self-care activities?
Yeah, I have a few. I have three that I practiced every day. And I call them my three non-negotiables, that meaning I have to do them every day, just because that is my self-care time. So my first one is I have a mindful minute every morning, whether that is just listening to light, or, taking a moment before I get out of bed, and like saying something I'm grateful for. And then, so that's my mindful minute, and it can be any time of the day, but normally it's in the morning. And then I love to meditate. I'm somewhat new to this as well. I'm not new to the concept of prayer, which I think has led me into the meditation world. I do believe they're different in ways, but they do have similarities. But meditation is something that I absolutely love. I have all of the apps I can download on meditation and guided meditations. But as well as on, like, well, the third thing is movement for me. I have to have 30 minutes of some sort of movement every day. I'm not a huge like gym rat, but I do enjoy either. I do go to the gym sometimes, but I like to go on a bike ride, or just go on a walk with my husband, or during lunch, go on a little walk or up the stairs or something, just so that I can have that movement. So those are my three non-negotiables that I write down every day in my journal and practice every day. But just kind of on the hobby side of my self-care, I enjoy watercolor painting. And that's something new to me as well, which has been really exciting to learn. And I also just love listening to live music anywhere I can, or music in general. So those are my favorite
That's
things. What are you?
great.
Yeah. What are some of yours?
Let's see. Well, I start every day journaling as well. At one point I had like 5 journals going.
That's
This is
awesome.
this is crazy. It takes me like 7 hours to be able to leave the house, but um, I have two that I use. One is, or it was, Rachel Hollis's Start Today
Yeah.
journal. And I've graduated from, her journal into just a notebook, but it's the same thing. It's 5 things I'm grateful for,
Mm,
10 dreams that I've made happen, from 10 years out, looking backward, and then sort of what my next step is. And then my other journal that I do is part journal, half planner.
mhm.
And it's Brendan Burchard's High Performance Planner.
Cool.
So that is how I start every day. And I start that with a cup of coffee in bed
Mhm.
before I talk to anybody. And what else? I read as much as I can. I kind of have to throw in some lighter reading in my
Mhm.
repertoire because I have been doing so much reading in the personal growth space. I think it was yesterday, my boyfriend was like, I don't think I've ever seen you read like an actual book, like a novel. I'm like, oh, I have one, next to my bed. I just don't read
Yeah.
it. I do. I wish I could say I moved every day for 30 minutes. I don't.
Mhm.
I go to an hour long Pilates class 3 times a week, and that is a non-negotiable for me.
Awesome.
It takes a lot to come between me and my Pilates class.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty set in stone and
Mhm.
non-negotiable. And I like to spend time outside. I love to travel.
Yeah.
I think that is, I mean, you referenced self-care by way of
Mhm.
indulgence. I I took a trip by myself last fall. I went to Bermuda for 5 days.
Wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. I know it definitely was a little indulgent. It was definitely outside of my comfort
Mhm.
zone, but it was so restorative and so
Oh, totally.
empowering. And I got to try paddle boarding, which was something I'd always wanted to do. And it was just great. Everyone I met was great. Everyone I met was, very encouraging of the fact that I
Mhm.
was traveling alone.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know that I'll be doing that regularly, but it was definitely a
Mhm.
great experience.
That's really cool. I do feel like traveling is one of my favorite things to do. And it definitely has that like restorative factor to help you like come back to yourself. And sometimes you do need to take a longer vacation, just to fill up your own cup and to get where you need to be. And I totally support that 100%. Um, and I think that's cool. I've always wanted to go to a place like Bermuda. And I've only ever gone to Florida and like parts of Mexico, but I need to travel more tropical. I think because there's definitely an element that's nowhere else in the world. I feel like when you're on a beach, it's surrounded by that kind of lifestyle. So that's really cool. I'm really happy that you did that for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. It was great. And,
Yeah.
it's only a 2-hour direct flight from Boston to Bermuda.
So cool.
And but it's like going to a whole different world. You feel really far
Yeah,
away, and it's really
totally.
great.
That's wonderful. Yeah, travel is amazing.
I want to be mindful of time. I want to,
Yeah.
value your time. But so tell us how people can reach out to you if they want to find out more about your business.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for asking. So I normally, well, mostly use Instagram as a platform, but I also use Facebook. And you can find me at Coach Charity 33 on both Instagram and Facebook. That's where I do most of my reaching out to people and my content that I put out there. I am working on a website, but as of right now, I haven't launched it. I haven't found that I've needed it at this stage of my business. I know it will be needed in the future, the near future. But for my launches and me connecting to people, Instagram and Facebook have been just fine. So that's probably the best way to get in touch with me. And like I said, I am starting, well, relaunching my course in the beginning of June. So if you're interested, that would be something to contact me about, because I am so excited to get this third launch going, because every time I might add something new, and I'm really excited for the new features that I'm going to have in this next course.
That's great. Your enthusiasm definitely comes out when you talk about it. So that's great. I think anybody who comes across you will be in good hands with you as their coach.
Well, thank you. I love that this is something that I get to do every day, and I love that this is something that can help people, just at the basic foundation of, self-care can help in so many different ways. And so I'm I'm I am enthusiastic about it, because I'm thrilled that this is something that can be my career path, because I feel like it's so aligned with what I want in life and what I want to be doing. So, and I really appreciate you taking the time to get in contact with me. And I really love what you're doing as well. And I know that people that come in contact with you, Synne, will be in great hands as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I really appreciate your time, and I hope some of my listeners find their way to you. Who knew there was such thing as a self-care coach? But I love it.
I know. I have found, I don't know if I'm sure there's more out there, but when I first chose that, people were like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I've never really heard of anyone else. I'm sure you're out there, but I'm really happy to be able to kind of like forging a new path for coaching, for the coaching world.
Well, that's great. Congratulations, and I hope
Thank you.
that your June launch is successful, and I'm sure you'll be able to positively impact many women's lives.
Thank you. I look forward to doing that for sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Charity.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. That was really fun.